Creative Magic Club.
Hi, Sarah Mack here from withsarahmack.com, and I see you over there overthinking your prices. So I am coming to you today to pull back the curtain on my decision-making process around pricing my group programs. And before we dive in, I just want to make sure that everybody knows I'm very excited that the doors are officially open for Profitable Group Programs, which is my 3-month group coaching experience to launch a high ticket group coaching program that adds 3 to 10K and beyond to your monthly revenue. And early bird pricing is available until Monday. So this is for you if you want to create more time freedom and to go from having many one-on-one coaching calls on your calendar to serving many more people in just one call a week, to go from unpredictable, exhausting launches to proven, repurposed content that makes you money every launch without the hustle that gets easier and easier with every launch and every relaunch. And really, this is a lot of in-depth support from me to develop clarity on your messaging, exactly how to share your story to attract the right types of buyers who are the perfect fit for your offer and ready to buy at your high ticket prices. So throughout this program, I'm going to walk you through creating a high ticket group program and content that you can continue to resell as scaled or even passive income, bringing in an additional 3 to 10K and beyond each month with just a few sales. So you can find the link to join in my bio on Instagram at Creative Magic Club, or please feel free to DM me to chat if you have any questions. So this is how I price my group coaching program. And, let's just address the topic of pricing because it can be simple, right? It can be a simple decision, but it's also a very personal decision, which by its nature makes it complex. And the goal for every one of my clients is to support them, as I do with myself, to find the number that you're actually going to be excited to get out of bed for to do this work. Because if what you're charging at your current phase of business and the current offerings that you feel inspired to offer and to build your business around, if that isn't supporting your life and your desires that, let's face it, you got into entrepreneurship for in the first place, then you're not going to last very long and you're not going to continue to show up and serve people in this way, which would be such a sad shame. So, we want to bring in the pricing, pick the prices that bring in the income and the clients in the way that fit you and feel right for you at this phase in your business evolution. So you don't bugger off and do something else, so that you keep doing it and you keep growing your business and bringing that big vision to life, whatever that looks like to you. So that's really how I start with my pricing, is working back from my vision. What are my desires for my life? What got me into business in the first place? Why am I not just doing this job for somebody else or helping people through somebody else's company? Because I wanted to do it my way. So what is that vision? What are my desires? And what do I want for my life? What is the lifestyle that I desire my business to bring me? And then I, check back in with how I want to serve people. What are my desires for my clients? What do I want to see them celebrating? How do I desire to support them through to that result? Remembering it all comes down to what do I want? What's fun for me? What really lights me up? What would be a magic button dream come true for me, for my work, for my money, and for my community? So once, and this is something that over time, everybody's vision is different, right? There's so many different ways to serve people, even if a lot of them look the same from the outside. Once you get into the details of it, the expression, the delivery, the way you're marketing and filling your offers, the way you're serving people in your offers, it's so unique to your gifts, your strengths, your likes and your dislikes. So one thing I noticed over time is that the same vision and the same ideas kept on coming through over and over and over again. Even when I would get distracted, and see another coach succeeding at something and my brain would go, well, I have to do it that way, or that way is going to be easier for me to succeed. And then, kind of going through that process of being off my path a little bit and then coming back on and being no, this feels really good for me to be working towards this big vision. So if you don't know that, like journal on it, and trust what comes up for you. Know that of course that's going to evolve, but come back to what is the vision that if you could, hit a magic button and know that that was going to be your future for your business, for your income, for the way that you serve people, like just pick that and work towards it and let it evolve along the way. So I work backwards from my vision, from my desires. Obviously, if my desire is to have a ton of free time and flexibility, I'm not going to be like, I want to have 50 one-on-one calls and have calls 9 to 5 every single day during my week. No, that's why I launch group programs, because I like having that freedom and flexibility in my schedule. But I also like the idea of impacting many, many people and being able to do that without burning myself into the ground. So then I check in with my income goal, right? Like how much money what is the life I'm envisioning? What am I fantasizing about? And what is the dollar amount of that? Because I believe that we're meant to have our desires and that in the process of getting them, we're going to do incredible things. We're going to become a fuller expression of who we are. So like get into the numbers. What is your income goal? And what is your vision for your business? And what are some fun and possible and reasonable ways? And also it's okay if they feel completely unreasonable to you at this point, but what can you envision as ways that you can hit that income goal? And how can you start to do it now, right? So, okay, here's an example. I don't have 10,000 followers on my email list. And, we all know that list size isn't everything. I know people who have 10,000 on their email list who aren't making, as much money as I am, and who aren't necessarily making money. I've had clients with tens of thousands of followers who also weren't making any money from it, because your strategy and your focus and your intention and your positioning really is everything when it comes to your income. So, regardless, my capacity currently to reach like huge numbers of people is limited. Like I'm doing audience growth work. I'm consistently growing my audience, but there's not, tens of thousands of people that are exposed to my offers when I put them out there and when I pitch it. So for me, at this stage in my business, it makes so much more sense to offer higher touch services at higher prices to smaller numbers of people. And to be honest with you, all the decisions I've made in my business have been intuitive, have been like an idea has shown up in front of me and I've been like, this feels aligned with what I want. I can see how this way of doing things is going to be like the missing puzzle piece to get me to the vision that I desire. Like I can see how that's panned out. And that's really how I was attracted to this business model in the first place, right? Through the teacher showing up. Once you set the intention, once you start taking action, once the student is ready, the teachers appear. And so that brings me to the next part of my pricing decision, which is asking myself, once I've created my offer, asking if I only signed a handful of clients, like even as little as 2 or 3 or 4, would I still feel good about running this offer? Now, here's why I ask myself this question, and I ask this question to clients, because if the answers are no, if the way that you're pricing is dependent on you signing like 10 or 20 clients to feel like you're fairly compensated, especially if like it's a newer offer or you're not as well established in your audience, it's a likelihood that you may only get a handful of people in your first launch. So I'm a big believer in starting where you're at and building momentum and getting paid and serving people while you're doing it versus like, building a giant audience first. Like we all know that that's not like a good business strategy. And it's not necessary, right? Because we can get to the income that we desire exactly where we're at now and following the path of least resistance there. We'll get back to the episode in a moment, but first I want to tell you how I went from wondering if anyone would ever pay me thousands of dollars for my support with mindset coaching to consistently signing dream clients paying me prices like $3K, $10K, $15K and more. Learning how to tell my story online is what has made the biggest difference and has led me to making 6 figures, working with clients I adore, while traveling to 18 different countries, writing a book, and recording songs for an album.
Freedom Club is my year-long mastermind where I teach you how to do it too. By mastering six-figure storytelling and a simple content strategy, I went from hearing no at the end of every sales call to signing five-figure dream clients in my DMs with ease. And from a $0 launch to consistently signing soulmate clients every month organically through social media. I went from undercharging, overworking, and overthinking my prices to receiving $1,000 to five figures for my coaching programs and creating so much freedom to rest, play, create, and adventure in my dream life and business. Freedom Club is now open for enrollment. It's high-touch daily support for you and your business, with a one-on-one kickoff call to get crystal clear on exactly how to attract the perfect fit clients into your high-ticket offer through your storytelling. You also get daily access to tailored support in our group Voxer Chat, where you'll feel supported, seen, and inspired by our intimate community of heart-centered creative entrepreneurs. Plus, twice each month, you'll have hot seat coaching with me in our group coaching calls to dive deep into content edits, mindset shifts, energy management habits, launch strategy, or any back-end business support you need. And you'll have VIP access to my extensive training vault on everything you need to run a six-figure coaching business, from content and social media strategy to money mindset, sales trainings, and lean team building, plus free access to any live programs or masterclasses I run throughout the year. This is the long-term foundational support to take your dream coaching business to six figures. Now you know you're ready to help more people with your incredible work by focusing on high-ticket sales. You can apply today at withsarahmac.com/freedom club.
Some of the benefits of having smaller numbers of people in your programs is they get way more attention from you. So actually smaller numbers is a win-win if you price it properly, right? If you feel like you're being fairly compensated, knowing that there's the capacity to scale this as you create it, as you get better at marketing it, as you get better at delivering it, and get better at supporting your clients to create results. And people get so much support from you in that process, obviously knowing that you're good enough already and the offer is good enough to get your clients the result that you promise already. And here's the truth. The only way to get to the big numbers is through the small numbers. So get comfortable with the small numbers, but be strategic. Like, you don't have to burn yourself out. Get paid to grow. This has been my mantra since the beginning of my working career because I couldn't afford not to, right? So, and then the next piece of this conversation is that I increase the price as I continue to add value. So the longer my offer has been around, the more value there is inside it, whether it's the exact same content, just with more bonuses and, extra deliverables that I've added to it since, or what some offers I've completely redone the content as well. But beyond that, just working with me, if it's a live offer, like, I invest in my growth every single year. My value goes up every single year. My experience goes up every single year. So, the more that level of expertise and experience is being reflected in what I produce, so the price gets to reflect that, and everybody should be thinking in this way. Obviously the only difference is if it's live versus like self-paced, self-study. Maybe there's less tailored support, or there's less interaction or opportunities to get my support in going through the program, in which case, I would sell the program at a lower price if I chose to do that. And I have done that in some cases. But personally, I just love running live programs because I know how much of an impact it makes in supporting people to create really epic results. So the price obviously will always reflect the level of support and the level of value. And this is important. It's not reflecting your time. So even when you have, live aspects, obviously, yes, you should be compensated more for your time, but it's really important to be in the mindset of like, your program is priced against the value that it delivers to the client based on the results and the transformation that they experience having gone through your program. Because it's not about time. It's really about the lifetime value of that transformation. So don't underprice your time. Like, even if you are thinking about it in that way, it's really important to acknowledge how much time it actually you have to put into delivering this offer, and making sure that you feel adequately compensated for it, because time is your most precious resource. And it feels really good to be generous within the boundaries that feel good to you. And changing your pricing is like the easiest way to be able to be generous, right? Making sure that you're not showing up as not your best self, because life is hard because you're not being fairly compensated for the work that you're doing. So here's, how I support clients to get to a price that feels good. Like, we'll just play and explore with some different options. Most of the time, people come to me when they're looking to raise their prices and really, understand the mindset and the strategy behind selling high ticket offers. And I'm going to go more into why it sometimes doesn't feel good to raise your prices in a moment. But that's okay, right? Knowing that you have a goal, like that vision that you have of how much you want to be charging for the work that you desire to be doing, you can work your way up to that with one price increase at a time, because the most important thing is that it feels good for you to sell right now. So, that's why it's great to ask yourself these questions, because sometimes when we look at it on paper and you ask yourself these questions of like, if only 2 or 3 people signed up and they paid this price, like, are you going to feel excited to get up out of bed for it? And probably, yes, you're going to love working with those clients, and you're going to love being of service, and you're going to love doing that work. But like, look at the whole picture, right? If you're not being adequately compensated for your energy that you're putting into it, because it's going to be taking away from other areas in your life, that's bringing strain on your time, energy, resources, and finances. There's going to be some funky energy in there, and that's going to halter your momentum in bringing this program to more people and growing it. And everybody's financial situation is different, right? Like, everybody's rent is different. Everybody's partnership situation is different. And so, everyone's relationship with money and the way that you bring in money is different. So if you're charging something that like isn't bringing you as much money as something else, then your desire to do something else will most likely, in some aspects, be higher. And we're talking about doing your soul work here that you're meant to do, that's here to change the world. In your bones that this is the work that you're meant to be doing right now. So we need to make it a desirable situation for you so that this work gets done. Because the longer this work goes without getting done, without serving the clients who really need this work that you're here to bring, like, that sucks, okay? So we need to price it in a way that really makes you feel excited to get out of bed and do more of it. It has to be worth it to you. Otherwise, it's a shitty business decision and you're not actually growing your impact. So let's talk about why it doesn't feel good. Why the fear of death will raise and run through our veins when we raise our prices and start asking for more money. This is conditioning. This is age-old conditioning, right? This is like tribal fears that we have, that if we do something that is against the culture, that is disapproved of, that we could be judged or rejected or criticized for. Back in the olden days, we would be rejected from the tribe and we would starve to death, or we would be burned at the stake like a witch. So know that these survival patterns are like in there, in our unconscious. And, and I've shared this story many times about the first time I really significantly raised my prices. I think it was like a $3,000 invoice that I sent out. I was like shaking. And my mind was like, no one's ever going to pay this. Like, this is, you're going to die. This was like the undercurrent of my nervous system. And I sent it. And like, of course it was paid. Of course it was the most like uneventful thing ever. And then that was really where I was able to pivot on the truth that it's safe to ask for a lot of fucking money, and more money than you've ever asked before, like whatever that number is for you. So know that that's going to be playing out. And you can take one small step at a time and build your evidence that you can raise your prices, that you can ask for it, and that you can get paid, and it gets to be an easy non-event that actually leaves you far more abundant than resisting it because of this ancient fear of death that isn't real. So, be willing to get uncomfortable. Your undercharging helps no one. You growing your business, your impact, and your power elevates you. It elevates more clients and more people in your community. And you can actually grow your business. And maybe, that's going to speed you along your way if a part of your vision is to be serving many, many, many more people at significantly lower prices, which is only viable if you have access to a lot of people in your audience already. And, I know it's not always true, but I've definitely seen both in myself and in my clients that when people invest more, they do show up for it more. And it comes down to the actual fact that it is more of a priority in their life. Like when more funds are invested in creating this transformation, there are less funds available in their life to prioritize other things. And that was the same for me too. Like these big investments that I made at the beginning of my business, like that was what I was focused on. I knew I had to show up for that. I knew that, and I didn't have any spare money just lying around to do other things. So I was really focused on creating that transformation that I really wanted and deeply desired. And I know that this isn't a black and white conversation, and you can definitely do things for lower price and create incredible transformation in people's lives. And I've definitely had clients who have paid me very little money and created phenomenal results because they were so committed and they showed up. But, that's one of the gifts of higher level investments, is it kind of forces you to be focused and to really prioritize your time and energy in creating that transformation and producing better results. And here's my belief, even though, obviously I help people create money, and so there can literally be a dollar amount ROI on the transformation that my work provides people, I believe that everything comes down to money. Like if you help people with relationships, if they're not happy in their relationships, if they're in pain, you can bet they're going to be online shopping on Amazon on shit that they don't need. They're going to be spending loads of money on therapy, or I don't know, taking trips to avoid their partner or whoever's causing them pain. Or, just leaking money, time, focus, energy, presence, and resources to other things that if they had more peace and contentment and power in whatever it is you help them with, relationships, health, that we all get to be more self-realized. We all get to be more fully expressed. We all get to live out the lives that we desire, that we're meant for, that we're here for, that when we get rid of the pain and the distractions in whichever way they're coming at us, whichever way you support people with to transform, we have more energy, we have more money, we're wasting less time, energy, and money on other things that are distractions from what we're really here to do. So I hope you found this valuable. If this is speaking to you and you want another pep talk on raising your prices, definitely check out episode 125 of Creative Magic Club. It's called 3 Reasons to Raise Your Prices Now. And I share even more reasons why it's important for you to raise your prices. So stop overthinking, go and, do some journaling on the things that I've just shared with you. Please share this with somebody who deserves to be making more money, deserves to raise their prices, is here to make a huge impact and shares super, super valuable work. And I would love to hear what comes up for you around this conversation. Like leave a comment, reach out to me, and let's keep this conversation going. So thank you so much for being here. Have an amazing rest of your day. Sending you so much love. Bye.
For more inspirational content, head over to my website withsarahmac.com, and please support the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing.